It's Friday, and whether it's outside enjoying the sunny weather or inside, there's plenty to do. Chris Bumbray is with JoBlo.com and joins us today from the Toronto International Film Festival. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Kelly, how are you?
I'm great. Well, let's start here. It might be one of the most quotable movies ever. There's a new Spinal Tap film coming out. Let's have a listen.
I like to sink her with my pink torpedo.
Pink torpedo? That's literature.
Yeah.
Really?
A lot has happened since the last time I saw you.
Crypto. Have you
So aside from finding out if they can keep a drummer alive, is this and other new releases like Downton Abbey enough to get people into movie theaters?
You know, it's so hard to say, Kelly, because I find that ever since the pandemic, people just haven't been going to see movies as much as they have, as they used to. It used to be kind of appointment viewing, and everybody was always excited to go see movies in theaters. But I feel like the pivot to streaming has really kind of done a number on the theatrical experience where less and less people are going. But like you said, Spinal Tap and Downton Abbey both appeal to an older audience this weekend, and it'll be interesting to see if either of them is able to pull people back in. For Spinal Tap, it's been 41 years since the original movie, which was never that big of a hit to begin with, but it became, like you said, one of the most quotable movies of all time, and also very popular amongst rock bands. Supposedly DVDs and VHS copies of those movies are on every tour bus in existence. They're back at it. They're about 78, 79 years old, each of them, and they're still hilarious. They're still great at improving. And Downton Abbey, I must admit, I actually brought my mother to the press screening of this because she's such a huge fan of the series. And it's bittersweet seeing them on the big screen. And, it's such a lushly photographed thing that, it does really feel at home in theaters. And I do hope that audiences go out and celebrate these kinds of movies because, we're bombarded with superhero movies and horror movies, but we don't get a lot of dramas or comedies anymore. And these two are unusual in that regard, in that they're the kind of genres that we used to go to in the olden days, right? And hopefully people get out and support them because they both deserve support.
All right, well, speaking of deserving support, he's one of the most iconic Canadians. This weekend, the Terry Fox runs are taking place across the country. How does this resonate 44 years, if you can believe it, after Terry's journey?
Well, I'm of the generation that I grew up, with Terry Fox being taught to us in school. I was actually born the year that he went on his first run. I'm aging myself a little bit here, but for me, when I was growing up, he was always just kind of this quintessentially Canadian icon, right? I mean, he embodies everything that we hope to embody. He was noble, but he was resilient, but he was also modest, and he never gave up. He was a hopeful figure. He was the kind of guy that we all wanted to be like. He still inspires people, like you said, 44 years later, and that's the fact that these runs are still happening. It starts in the Old Port in Montreal this week, but they're happening all over the city, really. And I suggest that anybody that feels like they want to participate in something like this, they really should, because it's a worthwhile cause. And like you said, the Terry Fox story, it's always going to inspire people. And I really hope that he's one Canadian icon that keeps getting passed down from generation to generation, because like I said, he really does embody everything about ourselves that we should be proud of. And I certainly think that he's, one of the great icons of our times, and it's one of the best sports stories ever.
Of course. He inspired so many. I remember doing the Terry Fox run myself when I was a little younger, and I'm hoping that a lot of people get out there this weekend. Chris, thank you so much for taking the time, and another packed weekend. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, Kelly. Thank you very much.